The bad news is that vitamins and supplements in and of themselves are not the end-all be-all to getting you pregnant. Vitamins to help you get pregnant. Do they even exist? And if so, what do they do and what are they good for? Well, I have some good and bad news for you. So let's get started so you can learn more. My name is Dr. Marc Sklar, also known as the Fertility Expert. And welcome to Fertility TV, your YouTube channel dedicated to helping you get pregnant. I've been helping couples get pregnant for over 18 years through my online programs, my online consultations and support for all of you couples all over the world wanting to get pregnant, and for all of you right here in sunny San Diego who can visit me in my clinics. All right, so let's get into it, because that's why you all are here, is to learn more about how you can improve your fertility. And today, once again, we're talking about vitamins and supplements. So I'm actually going to start with the bad news here first. The bad news is that vitamins and supplements in and of themselves are not the end-all be-all to getting you pregnant. Yes, they might be able to help a little bit, and for some of you, maybe even a little bit more. But in the end, they're not the only thing you need. And in and of themselves, they're not going to do it all for you on your fertility journey. There has to be more. But now moving on to the good news, when they are combined with other things, they can absolutely help you get pregnant. So those vitamins and supplements, when you combine them with other modifications and lifestyle changes and all sorts of other things that we're going to talk about in just a moment, then yes, these vitamins and supplements can change the underlying constitution, can improve function and specifically reproductive function. And together, this whole process can assist you and hopefully help you get pregnant. One of the other things that we're hoping that they can do in combination is that they speed up the time frame as well, that they shorten the amount of time that it's going to take for you to get pregnant and make that happen a bit faster. So over the last few weeks, I've been talking about vitamins and supplements and different ways and different items or different products that you can utilize to improve your fertility. If you have not been able to watch them or haven't checked them out yet, then I'm going to leave those videos right here for you to make that easier. So it's not that I'm not a big fan of vitamins or supplements. Actually, I am. And if anything has showed you that, it's the videos that I've created over the last several weeks, right? But I don't think that they're the end-all be-all. I'm a huge advocate for them in the right way, but they're not the only thing that you should be doing. And I want all of you to get away from this thought that just because you're taking a prenatal or a multivitamin or some other product that one of your friends or family members told you to take, that now you're going to be able to get pregnant immediately. And I know that many of you out there know that this is true, that just because you start something new and start taking a new vitamin, that the outcome doesn't necessarily always change. So why is that the case? The reality is that the vitamins or supplements that you're taking are just not enough. You need more. And my first point here is that we live in a world where the food supply and the quality of the food is just not the same as it used to be. I know I mentioned this in a previous video, but I want this to hit home for all of you. The food that we eat is not the same. The quality, the nutrients, the nourishment from these foods is not the same. So we need to approach things a little bit differently. And yes, that is where maybe a prenatal or multivitamin step in, but now you're just getting the basic nutrients and nourishment that you need. You're not getting any additional, right? And so we need to understand that. That's also why the quality of the supplements that you're taking and the types of nutrients you're taking are so important, because we need to set this foundational nourishment and nutrients for our body that we're no longer able to get from our food supply. The second point that I want to make here is that we are exposed to all sorts of chemicals and toxins in our environment that affect our fertility, affect our reproductive health, and affect our overall health and nutrients that we're getting into our body. And this has been pointed out more clearly this month. Actually, this month, January 2021, a new research study came out, and I was introduced to it by a friend of mine, Laura Adler, who is an expert in environmental toxins. And so she shared this research study with me. I actually mentioned it briefly in an Instagram post some weeks ago. And I'm going to look down so I can read it for you. This is about microplastics. And this specific research study is the first evidence that microplastics are now found in human placentas, right? What does that really mean for all of us? What does that mean for the children we're trying to have and will have in the future? What sort of exposure and chemical toxins do we have in our body that we're now passing on to them because of these microplastics? So I want to spend a little bit more time talking about that right now. For those of you who don't know what this is microplastic are microscopic plastic particles that are now found in the human placenta. And we are getting this, the research study showed, we are getting this from the water we drink and the seafood, the fish and seafood products that we consume from the ocean. I'm not saying this to scare you. We're exposed to all sorts of things every day through various different methods, whether it's the environment we're in or the different foods that we eat. But I'm saying this because I want you all to know and understand how important it is that we eat good quality food and that we're a bit more particular about the source that they come from or that they're organic or not, because all of these things will impact our overall health. And this, we're learning, is also true for the fish and seafood that we eat, right? So this is a very small study, so I do want to point that out. It is a very small study, but it is probably the first of many more to come that will show the same thing. And I'm just looking down at my notes, so I apologize for that. But what it did show is that only 4% of the placental mass was actually tested, which means of the whole mass of a placenta, they only tested 4%, and they still found this. So can you imagine what that looks like when you test the entire placental tissue, right? And they concluded that because they only tested 4%, that the actual microplastic exposure is much larger than they even were able to recognize and evaluate. Now, I should also mention that just because they found these particles in the placenta doesn't automatically deduce harm for either the fetus or the mother, right? But what it does mean is that these microplastics are acting like sponges, and other chemical toxins are now more absorbable in the body because they are absorbed into that microplastic and we are exposed to it. So we can't necessarily at this specific moment make these one-to-one correlations that this increase in microplastics in the placenta means that we're going to be more susceptible to other health issues. But we can start to think along those lines and start to be more aware of that with our own health and how we approach our health, our lifestyle, our diet, and when we do have health issues, how we start to evaluate those things. What we do know is that the chemicals that are found in the plastic or carried by the plastic are what's called endocrine disruptors, meaning they disrupt our endocrine system. Well, why is that important for our fertility and reproductive health? Well, your fertility is part of your endocrine system. Your hormones are part of your endocrine system. And if these chemicals that are found in this plastic are going to disrupt your endocrine system, that means they can throw off your hormones and cause more problems to your reproductive function. Typically, one of the main hormones that they start to throw off is estradiol and progesterone. And that's a problem for having a regular menstrual cycle and for having balance and regular hormones. All of these things in turn, over the long run, with increased exposure, without dealing with them and over a period of time, will absolutely affect your fertility and reproductive function. So why do I bring this up when we're talking about supplements? I bring this up when we're talking about supplements because the reality is if you're taking that prenatal or that extra CoQ10 or whatever it is, that it might not be enough and often is not enough if we're not doing these other things, right? If we're not eating a healthy diet, if we're still eating at McDonald's and eating a ton of sugar and being exposed to conventional foods that aren't organic, which have a lot of chemicals and toxins, then having that extra prenatal or those extra nutrients and vitamins are often not going to be sufficient enough to make an impact in our fertility and reproductive health. So that's why I bring this up in this conversation about vitamins, because I want you all to know that the magic pill that you're looking for might not be a magic pill after all if you're not doing enough in all the other areas of your life. The third point having to do with vitamins is that we have to be taking the right vitamins for you. For you. We don't know what those are, or you don't know what those are until we've done the right testing and started to evaluate your specific needs for your specific condition. And so I want to bring that point home once again. I know I've talked about this before, but you all need to understand that you all need a supplement plan that is specific to you. Not one that your best friend recommended, not one that the fertility group on Facebook that you're on recommended. It's one that is unique to you based on your specific condition, history, and genetic makeup and everything else that's going on in your life. That's the sort of plan that you need to impact your health and your reproductive function. And lastly, when it comes to supplements, you need to get a good quality supplement. The quality of the supplement is just as important as the quality of your food, right? If you're taking a supplement that is just like conventional food that's full of chemicals, toxins, and fillers, then you're not going to get the same benefit from it, and often it will do more harm than good. So just like we want good quality food to be healthy and organic and nutrient dense, we want the same thing for your supplements as well. So those are the main things that you need to be aware of as you are looking for the right vitamins, the right supplements for your fertility plan. So if you want a list of my favorite supplements, then I'm going to leave that link below in the description. I'm not going to talk about them here, but I'm going to leave that link so you can check them out and look at all the details in all the different supplements that I recommend for you. These supplements are safe, approved by me, and also the ones that I recommend and have been used in those couples that are in my fertility program. So I want to make sure that you join that free training if you haven't already, because I'm going to go over the 5 fertility supplements I love. I'm going to go over other tips about what you can be doing at home to improve your fertility, both with lifestyle changes and with dietary support. And remember, space is limited, but you can register by using the link below. And I want to make sure that I see you all there. I'm excited to see you there and give you this free information. And for those of you who have questions about your specific fertility needs, I'm going to be doing a Q&A, a question and answer as part of that free training. So if you want specific answers to your questions, then make sure you join me there. And to do that, make sure you register by using the link below. Once again, if you want to see those other videos that I created for all of you just recently on supplements and everything else having to improve your fertility, then you can check those out right here. I'm also going to leave those links below to make it easier for you. Remember, if you haven't watched those videos, this is a way for you to continue to learn and improve your knowledge on how you can improve your fertility. So check them out. If you found this video useful, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about it. The more comments that you leave below, the more this video is able to be seen by all those other women and couples who need this same support. So by leaving a comment, you're actually helping all the other fertility couples in the world get more information and increase their knowledge on how to improve their fertility. And please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, so that you can get notified when I put out a new video for all of you. And until the next video, stay fertile.